What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so this is a picture of an Arizona 6th grade school teacher. At least that's according to what's being reported. This is a picture of her taken on her first day of school. I want to say to this young lady, first of all, I hope that you have a successful career in teaching. And I don't know if this is her first day as a teacher, probably. She looks very young. She looks like she's in her early to mid 20s, I take a guess. Like I said, I hope she has a great year and a great career in teaching. I want to say this, right? Because, a lot of people are reacting to this saying that she looks like a 304 and she's a SDLUT, which I think goes way too far when you don't know this woman. Okay. I'm gonna say something. To be quite honest, I don't know if she's had a BBL. I don't know if this is a BBL or whether this is just how she's naturally built. Okay. Compared to some of the stuff that I've seen in recent years, which goes to show you how far the beyond the pale we've gone from what was once considered indecent, and now we accept it in this increasingly sexualized culture we have now. In comparison to some of the stuff that we've seen recently, this isn't that bad. What she has on. It's just that she's very well endowed in the posterior department, right? And she's very, very pretty. So let me say this, right? I think my biggest issue and this is just my opinion, okay? I think my biggest issue with this picture is the pose that she's in. Now, if she was taking a photo and she's smiling at the camera, and she's very, very curvy to the point where you could look at her and say, yeah, she probably got some wagon she's dragging back there, but it's left to the imagination. Then I wouldn't have a problem with it whatsoever, because at some point now you're picking on her for being blessed, for having a nice body. Because to some degree, you cannot cover up if you're extraordinarily curvy. I remember, look, man, there's been so many women I've worked with over the years that are extremely well endowed. I remember there was a woman I worked with a couple of years ago, a chocolate sister. I don't want to be on a Jason Whitlock tip, but I mean, she was dark skinned, but man, was she's gorgeous. And she was extremely curvy. I mean, and she was blessed more than this sister. And no matter what she wore, no matter how loose fitting the pants were, you were going to see the slopes. You know what I'm saying? The slopes was going they were going to poke out no matter what she wore. And it pissed me off because the supervisors gave her so much hell. And actually the female supervisors, they would give her so much hell. And mostly because they were jealous of her, because they were built like, Shrek or whatever. So that I try to look at it from that perspective. But, I just look at it like, I don't know what, look, you could argue maybe she shouldn't wear clothing that's tight. I mean, after all, you're a sixth grade school teacher. And I remember being that age, 11, 12 years old. That's when you're just starting to have those feelings, you know what I'm saying? And, thank God we didn't have teachers like this when I was growing up, but I would have never learned a damn thing. Never. My teachers looked like teachers. The attractive teachers we had were average teachers. We talked. We were kids, you know what I'm saying? We talked about who was, I mean, our parents didn't know we talked like this, but once we hit about 12, 13, we would talk amongst ourselves. Hey, would you F Mr. Such and such? And for the most part, I would say a good only 10 to 15% of our female teachers were effable. Most of them were career-long teachers, way past 50, grandmotherly looking. So we learned. We weren't distracted. These kids today have to be distracted because some of these teachers I'm seeing, and I've seen some very inappropriate stuff on social media. I've seen one teacher, she had to have been fired, and this was a white chick. This chick literally was twerking in the classroom. Now, nobody was in the class, but she was twerking, and you could see she didn't have no undergarments, and the the cheeks were flowing. They were flowing and flopping. So I'm like, man, how are especially boys? How are they supposed to be? How are they going to learn with this much distraction out there? You know what I'm saying? And if you're a girl student, a female student, that's not a good role model to have. A teacher that look like a tramp stamp. I'm assuming they have tramp stamps all over and look like a 304. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't want to judge her totally off this photo, but you're kind of leaning into inappropriateness a little bit, especially with the dress being this tight. Call me a prude, call me old-fashioned. I don't think a teacher should dress like this. It's too distracting. It's way too distracting. Now, me now as a student, I'm just talking here, right? Me as a student, if I were 11 years old, the way that I was back then, I would love this teacher. I wouldn't miss a day. I'd be in the front every day with my hands cuffed together, notebook open, wide-eyed, bright-eyed, and bushy-tailed, waiting to. I would stay over. I would stay over for, tutoring, personal tutorage by her. I would be the best student in class. But, my motivations would be kind of false. I mean, I'll be motivated to be a great student, but something else will be motivating me too. And, that's not, I'm laughing about it, but, I'm trying to make a little jokey joke about something that is a serious matter. And, is a trend of something that we're seeing that is going on with some of these teachers. And I'm talking about female teachers, because see, when I was growing up, when you look on the news and you saw a teacher behaving inappropriately, it was a male teacher, it was a mugshot, And now all of a sudden, for the rest of his life, he's never teaching again, and he got that mark on him. But now increasingly we're seeing female teachers. I'm just saying, we got a lot of these teachers who are increasingly younger than they used to be, just out of college, mid-20s, and you're teaching high school, and you're teaching with teaching kids who are less than 10 years younger than you are. And the morality line is not what it once was. It's just a recipe for disaster. So I just think we need to get back to the way things used to be, man, with teachers dressed the way they dressed. They used to dress, you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. Like, we've had some female teachers who were shapely, but they wore clothing that were conservative, because a student doesn't need to be distracted with that in their mind while they're to learn. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to be distracted by that. Now, that's me talking now as an adult, not 11, 12-year-old quagmire mind me back in the 90s. So anyway, that's all I got to say about this one. What you guys think?